Let's freaking go. We're in town, baby. What did I tell y'all? Have you ever noticed that in big tournaments, a lot of times the locals don't end up winning it? Well, the MLF Invitationals were just on my home pond here on the James River in Virginia, and I watched a lot of the live streaming and realized that I have been overlooking a lot of spots that I've fished before but don't consider good, quote-unquote good spots, because they're so obvious. I'm about 10 minutes away from home right now, and we're basically within city limits of Richmond, Virginia, and I'm putting in at a ramp that's closest ramp to my house. Usually I drive at least 30 minutes, and this ramp is, I mean, if I wasn't just sitting at a train for 5 minutes, the ramp's about 8 minutes away from me. So we're gonna dive in, kind of recount some of the steps that these Invitationals guys took and see if we can't catch a big one. It is real hot out today. It's 97 degrees, my truck's indicating. Low tide was about 2.5 hours ago. So high tide was about 2.5 hours ago. And the river is up a little bit, so it's gonna be stained. And some of these spots are little outflows that people were fishing. You'll probably recognize them if you watch the MLF Invitationals. And we're just gonna see if these super obvious spots are spots that maybe locals are overlooking, like myself. So let's get to it. So this first spot, I ran about 30 seconds from the ramp. It is nothing secret. I don't think a lot of people just know about the fact that there's running water here. And right now, I don't know if you can see this, but very, very chocolatey, very muddy. River's up about 2.5 feet right now. We're sitting at 6.5. River's normally at 4 or under in the summer. Right now we're in 3.5 feet of water, and we're about to go into a little sneak hole, I'd call it, where there's some flowing water going out. So we're gonna turn the camera around and get to fishing. Woo! Already sweating up the storm. Hard spot to navigate. Got conflicting currents. Big old fish just grabbed it. Oh my. What? Oh my God. Let's go. Freaking 2.5, 3 pounds smaller. Let's freaking go. We're in town, baby. What did I tell y'all? What did I tell you guys? We're overlooking these spots. Look at that beautiful smallie. We're gonna get a quick release later. So we're just throwing a little free rig. That's a drop shot weight, 1/4 ounce and a 4/0 EWG. And the Crud Craw from Berkeley. This thing's been getting bit lately on this free rig. Really been enjoying throwing it because I can just drag it and those legs really push. And I honestly haven't spent a lot of time fishing a Carolina rig or Texas rig or a free rig in a lot of years, just because I've gotten so into all these funny little baits, shaking a minnow, jerk bait, all that stuff, and you kind of overlook stuff like this. So easy the better. I'm just tight lining this thing in here. Let me drag. Ooh, it is hot. My God. All right, we're going to move to the next spot. All right, next spot. One smallie, 2+ pounds. Good start. One thing I can already tell, water temp in there was 83. Out here we're already at 86. So water temp plays a big difference for sure, especially cleaner water coming into this muck. All right, we're at another spot where super popular to striper and shad fish, but another outflow. You know what happened with the other outflow. Cooler water, cleaner water, and fish. First cast and there's a fish on it. Well, some reason this rod does not like me. Continue to break shit off. So a very simple rig. You need a drop shot weight with an eye on it and an EWG of your choice. Usually I use a 4/0, but I only have 3s left. So pretty straightforward. You're just gonna slide the eye through and you're gonna tie your knot of choice, and that's the free rig. You put your favorite creature bait or worm, whatever you feel so inclined to add on there, that essentially the weight is just freely swinging like that. So it lands and you can drag it. So it's kind of like a in-between of a drop shot and a Texas rig and a Carolina rig, but I'm really loving it. we're still only about 2 minutes from the ramp, a minute from the ramp. There's all these little obstructions that are just so obvious to me that I don't usually fish them unless I'm striper fishing or shad fishing up here. I don't spend a lot of time with it. That's clearly been a detriment. We've gotten some pretty good bites. Keep screwing the pooch on catching. This area is just pulling so much bait. It's just a spot for them, you know? So easy for fish to kind of just lurk in the shadows, get a little cooler water, have some easy pickings. These areas are not hard to find. Not hard to find on a map or just being up here on the water. I mean, you can see everything. It's not sneak. It's obvious sneak. I'll cast to a spot 20 times before I leave. If I really think there's fish there, know I got bait here. Know there's fish. And just like that last spot, it's all about getting the right trap. You can cast to the same spot 20 times and never get the same drift. And it's the difference sometimes, especially in this water. 6 inches can make all the difference. Small. Let's go see what else we can find. It's 95 right there. We are in the city. Too shallow there. Pretty cool. Back.
ahí se me cayeron, ajá.
So now we're going over the bridge we just fished. We're on 95. Yeah, I know. I'm recording while driving, not safe. But we did our due diligence. We checked out the spots that you can probably recognize if you watch the MLF Invitationals. A lot of outflows of water, a couple of pilings, just some non-sneaky sneak holes. They're all spots that I'm very well aware of, and we got bit quite a few times. We only brought one fish in the boat, but that was quite a few bites. We broke off 2 fish. One of them felt real heavy. I assume I must have got hung or snagged on something when he bit, but otherwise, I mean, I would call that a success. We definitely got bites. We never ran more than a minute with the big motor on, except when we were going through that area where there was no wake zone. And essentially, like, those are all areas that just don't get hit often because they're just so obvious. And I think that's the key to fishing your home pond, is being confident with the obvious stuff, because the non-locals, they're gonna find it. And 9 times out of 10, if it's so obvious that there should be fish on it, why would there not be fish on it? That outflow, that first one that we hit, the water temps were 5 to 6 degrees cooler than the rest of the main river, so it's quite obvious why there would be fish there. Moving water, cooler water, lots of bait. So those other areas that I hit, they were all same deal. There was no problem finding moving water. The problem was finding water that was moving less, and I think, as we know, those fish are not going to be trying to move around in 2-mile-per-hour current. So I think all in all, a pretty good success. Let me know if you think your area has the same issues, if you're on a big body of water with a lot of bigger tournaments where guys are coming in that aren't locals and taking people's money. I think it's quite obvious why it happens. But yeah, I would recommend anyone that fishes a specific area really often to sometimes just go back to the basics, the real obvious stuff. Till next time, Kyle with the current. Stay tight.